Last year we ended up with a 4-6 record, which is not the type of record we want to have. We want to obviously do much better than that. Again, key things that I think you got to take a look at from year to year is where's your team at? What do you need to do to improve? What are the things that you did well? And then also, take into consideration, hey, we play in a quality league, and many times games are won or lost by a few plays. And again, you can take a look at a handful of games last year that we certainly had opportunities to win, and we maybe didn't make the play. And there was a couple of games that we did make the key play that gave us the opportunity to win. So what are the things that you need to refine? What are the things that you need to get better at from that standpoint? So then obviously you go into spring ball and you work on those types of things, and you try to make yourself a better football team in terms of your work ethic and your execution, and and all those type of things that are going to be the key for the 2019 season. Every year, one of the key things that happens to any football team is that you lose people. Eventually they get out of the nest and they graduate and they leave. And with that, it creates opportunities for new players to step forward and show what it is that they can do, whether it's on special teams or whether it's cracking that lineup on the 1 or the 2 deep, doing those type of things. So you're trying to set up and find out who are those guys that are emerging, who's done the work in the off season, the weight room, in all those aspects of getting their body ready to be able to play and their mind ready to play, and then go out there and they perform and they execute in spring ball and they perform well. Well, of course, you return a guy like Jake Wenslick, and he was an outstanding player for us last year, and so he's a definite threat for us anytime that he's on the field and anytime we get the football into his hands, and so he's a key player. I think when you look at our offensive skill positions, in addition to Jake Wenslick, I think you got a guy like Ben Hartley, who had a great year for us last year as an outstanding wide receiver, can make some unbelievable catches, and he really does a great job at blocking and doing those type of things. And then also you have Jordan Jansen, who's a big, tall wide receiver that was a great receiver at Kimberly, and we're looking for some great things from him as well. So those are some guys that I think will be keys to our offense. Jared Smith, we felt like he had an outstanding season as things wore on for us as a tailback, so he's returning for us. And of course, quarterback, you have Will Arkin and Garrett Young. Those guys, both got a chance to play a little bit, and Garrett's back from his injury, and Will played a bunch of games last year. And Kyle Wood got a little bit of an opportunity to play a little bit, and so having some guys that have played at that quarterback position is always a key thing. Also, from an offensive standpoint, we're hoping to get a little bit more from our tight end positions. I think those will be very big for us in this upcoming year. And of course, you're looking for a guy like Ozzie Corp, and you're looking for a guy like Lucas Marion, to step up and perform well for you, and then you're hoping that someone else continues to emerge. From an offensive line standpoint, you return Logan Burnett, you return a Jeremy Bell, you get Louis Tom back in there working for you, and Hayden Hudalo that played a fair amount, and so you have some guys returning from that standpoint. Defensively, we return a fair number of defensive linemen that played quite a bit for us, and we've got some new guys that had solid springs that we're looking for big things from in the secondary, but leading the way in the secondary will be a guy like Travis Tidwell, and so we're looking for really big things from him, and a guy like Marshall Ryan, who had a really outstanding spring. At Michigan Tech, is that we're going to travel, and when we travel, they're always going to be long trips, and so it's not like that team that comes up here for one game, and they think that that's so tough. We do that regularly, so for us, it has to be something that we know and we account for, and that we are prepared to do, and we have 3 tough ones on the road to start the season, so having to travel to Hillsdale and then go down to McHenry by St. Louis, and then bouncing back and having to go to Saginaw Valley before Grand Valley comes in here. So the start of our season is very challenging, is very tough. But I think the key thing is the mindset that, hey, we're going to have to go play these games, so we're going to have to go do that. And if we get out there and we could get off to a fast start playing those tough road games, then I think the next part of it, the next key of it, is that now you set yourself up pretty good. You got a home game, you got a bye, you got another home game, so you get yourself back on track with a schedule that becomes favorable after those first four, or after the first three. So I think that's a big part of the mindset that your players have to have, and it wasn't a lot different in 2014. We were on the road for 4 of our first 5 that year, and then came back and got off to a fast start, got off 5-0 with 4 of our first 5 on the road. So you want to be able to do something like that to set yourself up for the rest of the season. For me, a big thing is execution and consistency on both sides of the ball, understanding what our responsibilities are, understanding what our jobs are, getting to learn to play together and execute all the little things and the key things that need to happen for your team to be successful. So what are those things, and what do you need to work on, and then how do you just get better at them, and how do you get better at them every single day? You have to do the work every single day in order to give yourself a chance to be great on Saturdays. You got to do the work every single day. Number one, I think you have to work hard to stay healthy. Number two, believe in yourself and what it is that you can accomplish, and then number 3 is be a team. Work together as a team and work together for common goals.